Hey everybody, this is Total Gamer Junkie, and I welcome you all back to my channel. So, today I watched a video from a YouTube channel called smackNpie, and it was about updates for. It was about episode 4 update and episode 3 leaks. I'll leave a link to their channel description below. Anyways, after watching it, I decided to watch the original channel where they got this information from, which is uh, well, half of the information from. They got it from a YouTube channel called incoldblood, which I'm subscribed to, and that's where I like to get some information about cut content and all that. And I thought we'd go over with it, and I want to go over my theories about what I think will happen in the next 2 episodes. Now, before we start, I just want to say that these images that you're seeing, I got these off In Cold Blood's channel, so you be sure to drop a like on his channel and a comment. And if In Cold Blood you were somehow watching this, this is just for research purposes only. I'm not trying to steal your content. I'm just using it for research purposes only. This is some of these ideas that you're coming up with on here. You were the first ones to come up with it, and that's what you said in the channel. And I'm giving credit where credit is due. All right, let's get started. Alright, so as you can see, this one, goodbye, did all you could. Now, I previously mentioned how it in one of my videos that it might be about Clementine, what do you call it, doing all she could, and in the end she died. But there are other few things I've decided to go over. Like, for instance, maybe it could mean that AJ dies. Now, look at it this way. In the New Frontier, you have to make a choice at the end. Do you go after David and Gabe, or do you help Kate with Richmond? Whichever one you choose, another person will die. If you go with Clem to go after Gabe, then Gabe and David will survive, but Kate will die. If you go after Gabe by yourself and Clem goes with Kate, David will die, but Kate will go missing, and that was supposed to be resolved like in the next season, like when Clem's looking for AJ, but Telltale decided to scrap that idea. So we'll never really know what happened to her since the whole studio is shutting down. Moving on, if you go with Kate and Clem goes after Gabe, Gabe will live, and so will Kate, but David will die. And if Harvey and Clem go with like you know what I mean, you slash Harvey and Clementine go with Kate, then both David and Gabe will die. So maybe it's something like this. Maybe you have to make a choice in episode 4, and depending on what you do, could seriously have drastic effects. Like, it couldn't be AJ. Maybe, like, because I've actually, a friend of mine been talking about, maybe it might be Violet and Lewis. It could be, did all you could. That could be like, maybe you tried to help save Violet and Lewis, like, but maybe in the end they end up dying. Or it could be about the whole group. It's like, did all you could. You did everything you could to keep the group together and alive, but we could lose a few more of them in episode 3 and 4. We already lost Mitch. We could lose Ruby, Sim, Lewis, Violet, Willie. We don't know. We don't know until the episode comes out. Alright, now moving on. Now the next one here is You and Me Came Full Circle. I've already covered this in a previous video, but we're going to go over this again. Now, came full circle can mean a few things. Starters, it could be that Clem could die, but before she died, she ended up teaching AJ everything she knows. Now, like, obviously, like, some people are, or some of you on my channel have said that she's not gonna die, like, Telltale wouldn't do that since this is fan service. They could be. Now, You and Me could also be, like, maybe in the end, Clem and AJ, they leave the boarding school and they like don't look back, and it could be them two on the road again, like in episode 2 when they got kicked out of the boarding school, and for that short time after the two of them left Lewis and Violet. They were walking through the woods, and this was before Abel showed up. So we could have that, but maybe there's maybe, well, I'm not really sure about this one, but let me know what you think in the comments below. Moving on. Now this is where it gets a little interesting. Two of the achievements for episode 4, their names have been changed. Now this is the original name right here. Said you would never leave me. Now to me this is a callback to season 2 episode 5, where after Clem getting shot by Arvo has the flashback to when she was with Lee after Lily killed Kylie or Dog, whoever it was in your walkthrough, and Lee's talking about her with that and how bad things happen to people, and sometimes you have to do what's right even if it hurts other people. And so one of the options that Clementine can say is that you won't leave me. Now I believe that this is a nod to that. Said you would never leave. That's like a promise, you know? Like that's at least what I figure it is. Now as you can see here, the image has changed. It now says trusted someone else, better life. Now what could this mean? Now I've been trying to think of a good reason, and I think I might have found one. Season 2 So it says right here, we started with the ending and we decided it would take 4 episodes to get to that. There's going to be a variety of avenues throughout the season, but we won't ever make the player feel like they got a bad ending to the story. It's your ending. Okay, it's your ending. So even if there are multiple endings, which I assume there's going to be 100%, your ending, what you decide to choose will be your ending. And I do believe one of the endings, better life, will be will be letting AJ stay with this group. Now what group could that be? I'm gonna show you right now in the next images what I think it might be, or more specifically who it might be. Now this is one of the screen, I haven't seen this concept. The first time I've seen it was on incoldblood's channel, which I'll leave a link to the description below. All this stuff I'm getting is from his channel. Now, or her, I'm not sure. I didn't really know if the voice is a man or woman. Sorry if I've offended you in cold blood. Now, this looks like a boat or a ship, like, and I don't think it's broken. I think this floats. Now, at first when I saw this, I thought it might be Delta, but Lily says they had a big group and solar panels and all that, and the ship, they grow their own food, and there's a ship. I mean, they grow their own food and there's solar panels, and I don't think a ship would have solar panels on it. Like if someone wants to prove me wrong, go ahead, but I just don't think a ship would have one in my opinion. Now, this could be here for a number of reasons. Maybe this, what I believe is happening is, this ship will house a bunch of people and will be faced with a similar situation, like with Wellington, and we can have the option to leave AJ there to give him a better life, because maybe something could happen, like, because he got shot by Abel, and he could have died from what happened if James hadn't saved them and Ruby hadn't helped with the medicine and all that. So maybe Clementine realizes, like, what Lily says is true, because you know Lily's like, you'll die protecting him and that, and you can say like, AJ's a tough kid, and Lily will respond with he's got spirit, but it will take more than that. So maybe Clementine doing the adult thing, she decides that she can't take care of AJ, and like decides like even if it hurts her, she has to do it to protect the person that she cares about. Like Lee did for her, and Kenny tried or did for her in season 2. Whether you're with the Wellington ending or you stayed with Kenny. Yeah. So right now I'm about to pick up. I'm about to show you who the people are on this ship. I have no idea who they are. I've never seen them. Will we see them in episode 3? Not sure. But let's take a look at them. As you can see here, it says Riverboat Captain and First Mate Rogue. I can't really see that. Like someone wants to pronounce it for me, they can. I'm not sure how it's pronounced. Anyways, maybe these people here are the leaders, because as you can see, there's 4 people here. Now these might be the 2 on the left and the 2 on the right. Might be the same. Like the 2 on the left could have been the before concept art, and the 2 on the right could have been the after. Like, yep, that's what we decided to go with in the end. Now, I assume these 2 would be the leader of this small community, and maybe it's a community full of children, like not like the boarding school, but maybe they're like family children's. Like maybe these 2 people ran a daycare center, and all the children on the ship are from the daycare, and so it's like a bunch of kids and all that. Maybe they're kids from old communities that they've come across, or new people who've joined them. Like I said, I'm grasping at straws here. I have no idea. But be sure to leave your theories in the comments below. Okay, now let's move on to the next set of achievements. Okay, so originally the achievement right here was called Lost and Found Clementine's hat. Now I mentioned this to another person who commented on my previous video when I made a theory video about the list of achievements and that. Now I mentioned that that I think personally it might be Krista who finds the hat, because Telltale teases some returning characters from season 1. So I think that maybe at the end, like if Telltale was still around, they said they were going to focus on other stories, and Clementine's journey was ending since this is the final season. Now, you know in Star Wars, Anakin's lightsaber, it belonged to him, then it belonged to Luke, and now it belongs to Rey, but you know, it's bullshit. I prefer the expanded universe to the Disney canon, but I'm not going to get into that. It's different stories, but it's the same lightsaber. So, if Telltale was still around, I believe that could have happened. Like, we could have seen Krista or, like, a new character with Clementine's hat. And so we go through the years, and maybe it's like we switch between different people, like every 8-10 years and that, and they each have Clementine's hat, and so you'd be going through a timeline, and you'd be seeing that hat wear down, and people would have been like, oh, that's where'd you get that hat? And they would have been like, I found it, but we would know the history of Clementine's hat, where it came from. And that would be pretty cool to watch through the ages, as it disintegrates into nothing, you know. It gets more worn, eventually becomes it's unwearable, you know what I mean. Now right now you're gonna see what the new name is, and here's the new name: Time Bomb. Covered up the crime. Now what does that mean, covered up the crime? A few things comes to mind. Now one of these, Clementine has, like, let's face it, she's never gotten her hands really dirty, you know what I mean? Like, in episode 2 of season 1, you had the option to kill Andy and Danny St. John. Now, what's interesting about this is, even though we played as Clementine, like, you had the choice to, like, shoot Kenny, but Clementine's never really taken a life, per se. Like, if you want to count the New Frontier, where she's, shooting at the Raiders in episode 4 and that, sure, I guess. Or if she's shooting at the New Frontier, I mean, the bad ones and that. But you've never actually seen her commit a murder, because if you think about it, Andy was trapped in the bear trap. I mean, Danny was trapped in the bear trap, and Lee can kill him with a pitchfork. Andy was trapped in there. As Andy was like beaten, but you can kick him into the electric fence and kill him. Or there's another option. You can actually use his gun to shoot him, and that's not cut content. That's actually when once you like on top of him, if you don't choose to punch him, then he'll like get back on top, and then you'll have to fight him off, and that's how you can use the gun. But and like even Larry, I guess technically helping Lily kill Larry, that's technically murder. Now in some games, at the end of towards the end of episode 5, Clementine can kill the stranger, but that's not murder. She's doing it to save Lee. So I do believe that. Sorry, my throat. I do believe that Clementine will maybe make some sort of deal with Lily, and this might be optional, and some type of deal in order to keep AJ safe, and she'll have to cover up the crime to do it. Or it could be maybe you could kill someone in the group by accident, and you have to cover up what you've done. Kind of like how Marlon killed Brody and he tried to blame it on Clementine. Maybe something like that. That's probably bullshit, not gonna happen, but I'm just saying. Speaking of endings, I just mentioned before that people at Telltale said they know how the starting end's gonna end, how the end of the season's gonna happen, and we're gonna talk about that right now. Now, in Cold Blood, while digging through the files, he's found out some stuff, and it says, like you can see here, Foliage A. Clem House. Now, I was skeptical at first, but I do believe that one of the endings, you'll be going back to Clementine's house, and holy shit, that's wow, it's pretty amazing if they actually do that in one of the endings, because I haven't been there since season 1. There was actually supposed to be this is what he mentioned too. I actually knew about this from his channel before he made this video a few days ago. But he mentions in it, I'm pretty sure it was him, that episode 5 was meant to have a flashback. I'm pretty sure it was because each episode of New Frontier had a flashback, but episode 5 didn't. Episode 5 flashback was meant to happen before the outbreak started. So it'd be pretty interesting, to see where this will happen. What happens when you get to the house, and see how much it's changed. We've got a little concept art right here. Let me show you. Now, as you can see, this is her house from season 1, but it doesn't look like season 1 graphics. These graphics look very updated. It kind of matches with the final season's graphics. So I do believe maybe there'll be a flashback with her, because we've established that there is going to be a Lee flashback in that. But who's to say that we couldn't have another flashback as well? Let me give you an example. In the New Frontier episode 4, if your Clementine is with Kenny or Jane, Clementine will mention to Harvey about either one of them when she's sewing him up after he got stabbed. Now, the flashback takes place before episode 1's flashback. Then after that flashback with Kenny and Jane, it jumps forward. If you're with Kenny, it jumps forward a month. If you're with Jane, it jumps forward 13 months. Now, and then in that, it's a new flashback after Clementine's been kicked out of the New Frontier. And that's when Ava comes and she drops off the supplies and saying she's sorry in that for what happened. So, yeah, I do believe that, because I when I first saw these images, when I first saw the images of Clem, the young Clem in the flashback, I knew instantly it was going to be after the motel because of the hair buns, because she doesn't get those till she's on the train. Yes, in Cold Blood, yes, I made a previous video about this, about the images. If you want to take a look on our previous channel, by all means have a look. So it's yeah, I'm not stealing this information for you. So yeah, so moving on, yeah. So yeah, I do believe that we'll have a flashback, maybe Clementine's talking to Lee, and when they get to Savannah, he asks her what her parents were like and that, and it's then maybe there's a flashback back to it, and you can actually see Clementine with her parents at one point. I'm not entirely sure. Or maybe the flashback will be after episode 5, where she's wandering alone and then she bumps into Omid and Krista. I'm not too sure what the flashback will entitle, but we know Lee will be in it. And I know, and I'm pretty sure the flashback will take place on the train 100%, because there's no place like for a flashback, in my opinion, unless it's like, you know, in season 2 episode 5's flashback, where you have Ben and Lily. You have Ben, Lily, Kenny, Duck, and Katja. They don't say anything, they're just there. Maybe this could be when Lee falls asleep and the stranger is talking to Clementine, and Clementine goes outside to meet him, and that's when he kidnaps her. So yeah, maybe that could be happening. Maybe Lee's just there, he doesn't say anything, but that's highly unlikely. I believe the flashback will happen before they get to Savannah. Yeah. Or just before, or just when they're out in the outskirts of Savannah. Alright, yeah, that's everything I can cover. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and leave a like and comment or dislike below. Make sure you also check incoldblood's channel along with smackNpie. I'll leave the links in the description in their channel. And this information, most of this information is from incoldblood, so you be sure to give him a double like. Doubt there's a fin, but you do it. You like, then you make another channel and you give him that extra like. You make like another YouTube account and you give him double likes. Alright, this is Total Gamer Junkie signing off.